Hey, I'm Paige DeSorbo, and I'm always thinking about underwear.
I'm Hannah Burner, and I'm also thinking about underwear, but I prefer full coverage. I like to call them my granny panties.
Actually, I never think about underwear. That's the magic of Tommy John.
Same. They're so light and so comfy, and if it's not comfortable, I'm not wearing it.
And the bras, soft, supportive, and actually breathable.
Yes, Lord knows the girls need to breathe. Also, I need my PJs to breathe and be buttery soft and stretchy enough for my dramatic tossing and turning at night. That's why I live in my Tommy John pajamas.
Plus, they're so cute because they fit perfectly. Upgrade your drawer with Tommy John. Save 30% for a limited time at TommyJohn.com/comfort. See site for details.
Grief doesn't keep a calendar. Anxiety doesn't clock out after 5. Depression doesn't care if it's your busy season. But support can still fit into your life. With Grow, you can find a therapist who meets you where you are. They connect you with thousands of independent licensed therapists across the U.S., offering both virtual and in-person sessions. You can search by insurance, provider specialty, treatment methods, and more to find a therapist who works for you. And if it's not the right fit, switching is easy. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Find therapy on your time. Evenings, weekends, and cancel up to 24 hours in advance at no cost. Whatever challenges you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/ACAST today to get started. That's growtherapy.com/ACAST. growtherapy.com/ACAST. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states.
Hello, SpyHards. It's your very own Miss Moneypenny, Catherine Winkler here, with an exciting announcement. Agent Scott and I will be hosting a live screening of Thunderball at 2 p.m. on Saturday the 13th of December at the world-famous Riverside Studio Cinema in Hammersmith. Plus, after the screening, we'll be joined by Bond girl extraordinaire Martine Beswick to share her stories from behind the scenes of this 007 classic. She'll also be signing autographs and taking photos with fans. So if you want an early Christmas present, you know what to do. Tickets are limited, so make sure you grab yours now at the link in the show notes. See you there.
Hello and welcome to SpyHards Podcast, where your hosts go deep undercover into the world of spy movies to decipher which films make the knock list. But remember, this information, it's strictly for your ears only. I'm Agent Scott.
And I'm Cam the Provocateur, poking Scott in the face with a flaming torch.
Ow! Ah!
Scott,
Ow!
It's coming right at you.
Ah! Stop! Ow! I turned into Michael Jackson there. Ow!
Dun, 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 dun,
And
dun.
demonetized.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cam. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, this is the first ever episode of SpyHards presented to you in 3D.
Which is kind of crazy that we haven't stumbled across the 3D one in the past. Did we ever cover something?
We did do a 3D. Spy Kids 3D.
Oh, duh. Of course we did. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But this is the first 50s era 3D film.
Oh, yeah, we just didn't really talk about the 3D element in Spy Kids 3. I think we were too busy talking about everything else wrong with that film, whereas this is... Well, one of the faults is the 3D, I think.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure we probably covered something from the post-Avatar period that was retrofitted with 3D for the release.
Which is, of course, how we mark time now.
Yes.
BA and PA.
Right. What do you do with Way of Water, though? That's where it gets confusing.
Woa?
Woa. Post Woa.
No, post Woa is P-wow and B-wow.
Oh, I like that.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty snappy.
Yeah. Wasn't that a character on Jersey Shore?
P-wow? I don't know.
It was J-Wow.
Okay. Cam's outside hobbies are sneaking into the podcast, and I don't like it.
I've actually never seen that show. So.
Okay, but you live on the Jersey Shore, right?
I'm aware of pop culture. I'm aware things are happening around me all the time.
Yeah, I'm somewhat of a pop culture aficionado myself.
That's right.
I'll have you know.
I'm a pop culture scientist.
Yes. Well, it makes sense that we're making irrelevant pop culture references in a film that is from the 1950s.
I mean, where else are we going to drop pop culture references that no one remembers?
I mean, look, this is a podcast for a bunch of people that are great, but are a bit odd like us. And we've never been relevant or particularly up to date or hip or cool. So I guess most of you listening aren't either.
No, I mean, how could they be?
But you don't come to us for pop cultural relevancy. You come to us for deep dives on the canon of spy movies. And Cam, what are we firing from that canon this week?
We are firing 1953's The Stranger Wore a Gun. Or as I like to say it, The Stranger Wore a Gun! Like, exclamation mark.
Like you're surprised.
Yeah, like I'm surprised.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I was surprised that we watched it.
Well, there you go, and it's a Randolph Scott Western.
Okay, which means nothing.
Yeah, I'm not really that surprised you're not familiar. I feel like and we've tackled a few stars like this in the past, where it's like these people were megastars in their time, but never really had their Casablanca or their, Treasure of the Sierra Madre, like the movie that like really said Gone with the Wind. If you're talking about Clark Gable, where people go, I don't know his other movies, but I know what Gone with the Wind is. I don't think Randolph Scott really had that, but he was a megastar and made over about 100 movies, and 60 of them were Westerns.
So he liked sand.
Yes.
He was the anti-Anakin Skywalker.
He really was. He's one of those guys who's really big in Westerns at the same time as like John Wayne.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, the only thing I know about Randolph Scott, and that is from looking at his IMDb whilst I was trying to watch this film earlier today, is that he died mid-days before I was born.
Maybe you are the reincarnated Randolph.
This is it.
Scott.
And my name hasn't always been Scott Hardy, so maybe I am Randolph Scott.
Maybe you are. What a fascinating turn for the existence of Randolph Scott, where he goes from like Western all-star to podcaster of second-rate spy movies.
No star.
Yeah, no star. He had it all. He had it all, and then he lost it.
He reached... It was like Icarus. He got too close to the sun, and I've come crashing down to Earth now.
He did horrible things during his Hollywood life, because that would explain how he became you in a second life.
Yeah, it's a penance now, isn't it? Basically, This is what this is. This is like a prison sentence. It's being me, which is actually akin to how I feel my life is most of the time, is a prison sentence. So
it's like some people are reincarnated into like bugs, worms. He got worse.
What, the film?
He got worse.
Oh, right, I see. I thought you said he was reincarnated into the film Bugs, and I was like,
oh,
wow, what a weird thing to be reincarnated into.
No.
I also have a note about this title.
Okay.
You can't wear guns.
Yeah, no, the title makes sense to me.
Ah, gun aficionado Cam Smith, here we go. Please explain it to me.
Well, you'd be wearing them with your holster. You'd be wearing the gun in those days.
Would you say that stranger wore a gun?
Yeah.
Or would you say he carried a gun?
No, because he's not carrying it. It's in his holster, and that's part of your clothing.
Ah, Cam's pedantic side's coming out now.
Well, I'm just saying that to me did not jump out at all as something odd about the movie.
What's that line from the comic book guy from Simpsons? Worst movie ever.
Right.
Yeah. That's the height of my critique for this film, folks. It's the best you're gonna get.
All of your notes are just the word war with question mark next to it. It's like The Shining.
Yeah. All war and no play makes Scott a dull bar boy.
He's watching at the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah. Okay, apparently I can wear a gun, folks, but I choose not to.
There you go. You are not Randolph Scott.
I'm not. Well, I am.
Although he didn't want to wear one either. So maybe...
No.
Maybe you are the reincarnated, this version of Randolph Scott, because his other movies, he easily wore a gun.
Oh, okay, because he's more of a conscientious objector. I'm actually a Jeff Travis reincarnated.
Yes, Jeff Travis, the lead character of this film. I don't think people know the name Jeff Travis.
Yeah, because they all know Randolph Scott.
I think they do know Randolph Scott.
Okay. All right. I'm happy to be the one who doesn't because I didn't need to. I already knew him inside.
Right.
Inside. Sure. But if you didn't know Randolph Scott, if you didn't know the stranger wore a gun, or the strangers could wear guns, frankly, here is your synopsis. The stranger wore a gun. The Greens are coming. No. The screen's greatest outdoor star. Is he?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, John Wayne's a huge star at this time, and he's doing tons of Westerns. The thing is, like, Randolph Scott dedicated himself to Westerns. He did, like, more than just about anybody. So maybe.
Also, it's a little bit like of that speculate to accumulate thing. If you say you're the screen's greatest outdoor star, or on the bit that Cam cut out of this, the Green's greatest outdoor star, or now maybe he'll leave it in because I've mentioned it. You say it enough times, maybe it becomes the truth.
Maybe it does.
Having been a spy for Quantrill's raiders during the Civil War, Jeff Travis, thinking himself a wanted man, flees to Prescott, Arizona, where he runs into Jules Moray, who knows of his past. He takes a job on the stage line that Moray is trying to steal gold from. When Moray's men kill a friend of his, he sets out to get Moray and his men. When his plan to have another gang get Moray fails, he has to go after them himself. And that's when he wears the gun.
That sounds like a very winding plot they're describing.
There's a lot of like very small sentences that like really slow it down.
I was really like kind of captivated in a way I'm not usually, where I'm like, oh, where's this going next?
Oh. Maybe my like dictations has gotten better over the years.
Couldn't have gotten worse.
Well, that's true. Well, here is the IMDb one. It's far more concise, unlike myself. A former spy moves to Arizona to join a gold robbery, but when he gets there, decides that it's not for him and tries to change his life.
Yeah, sure.
That is it. That is the plot.
Yeah.
Also, one thing we haven't really said too much about is that we're actually looking at another one of these weird Civil War spy movies.
Yeah, and a very Western one.
Yeah.
Because we've tackled some Civil War ones that are grounded a little more in like the kind of Civil War aspect of it, but they're not full-blown Westerns.
Yeah.
This is just a straight down the line, somewhat classic template Western that just has a spy element added to it.
Can I ask you something at this stage? When you heard the word Quantrill, did that mean anything to you?
I was back in Jayhawk land.
Oh, here we go.
Hearing words where I'm going,
here we go.
Uh-oh, don't know what this is.
It is a thing. I Googled it afterwards.
Right.
It was a real person. There was a piece of crap.
Yeah, and I was thinking right off the top of this movie, because they set up the Quantrill's raiders. They're like, not recognized by the North or the South as part of their armies. And I'm like, that is a really smart angle for the movie. I'm like, oh man, that's smart, because this way, neither side of the audience
There's good people on
is
both
offended.
sides.
They're like,
good people on both sides, folks.
Exactly. And I'm thinking from the point of view of the filmmakers, I'm like, oh, a canny move. And so I was actually surprised with that when it then later in the movie, Randolph Scott was like, I fought for the Confederate Army. That's where I went. And I was like, oh, they actually did specify. They didn't leave it in kind of that limbo territory, which I thought they were doing off the top.
I mean, they do let the Confederate side off quite easy in this film.
Randolph Scott is a member of the Confederate Army.
Sure, but also like one of his mistresses, which we'll talk about, is very sympathetic to the cause.
Yes.
We'll just say that for now. So yeah,
yes.
I mean, broad strokes, this film's politics seem quite down the middle, but actually I think when you get into it, there is a bit more of a leaning.
I would agree with that. Yeah, it doesn't spend a lot of time on it.
No.
But it definitely does at a certain point in the movie specify.
Yeah, which I think is probably just smart, like, way of building character without having to say too much.
Yeah.
Says a lot about the person. But, Cam, how did the stranger get his armament?
Okay, so this is based...
Oh, saddle up, I'm excited. Cam just got reared there for that one.
This is based on a short story by Montana-born author John M. Cunningham. And the story was actually called Yankee Gold. And Cunningham is not someone with a huge collection of work people would have heard of, but he previously had written a short story called Tin Star, which was adapted into the movie High Noon with Gary Cooper, one of the biggest westerns of all time.
Yep, like that film. Good film.
Yeah, and so like it would probably make a lot of sense to be snapping up other short stories of Cunningham's in the wake of High Noon.
So, okay, this was like the one that started it off for him then. Or was High Noon what started it off?
High Noon was the year before this.
Ah, okay. So they're like, oh, we're into gold here almost technically. If we talk about this film and what they're going for is we've got the guy who did High Noon. We're off to the races.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
And so they hired screenwriter Kenneth Gamet to write this film, and he was born in Iowa and made his Hollywood debut writing the 1936 mystery Smart Blonde. And then, like, he's one of these guys, and we've talked about a number of writers like this when we tackle, say, like, B crime movies or, something like Spy Ship or some of the Westerns as well. Just these people that just cranked out tons of studio programmers, but didn't really have, like, big films to their name. Mm-hmm. So Gamet wrote, actually, the Nancy Drew film, 1938, Nancy Drew Detective, which I didn't even realize they were making Nancy Drew films that early on. And he did 4 Nancy Drew films. Mm-hmm. He did a range of mysteries and crime films. He wrote a number of John Wayne films, but none of the ones that people really hold up in high regard. He did Pittsburgh, Flying Tigers, Wake of the Red Witch, where John Wayne battles an octopus, and Flying Leathernecks, and 2 of those are war films.
Okay.
But in 1951, he wrote for André de Toth, the 1951 Western Man in the Saddle, which was a Western from the director of this film, and it also featured Randolph Scott.
I don't think you can say the title of that film without doing it as Max Zorin.
Okay, go for it.
No. You're the one who can do the good Zorin, not me.
Well, you said it. I can't do a Zorin. I've never been able to do a Christopher Walken impression in my life.
You've done the in the saddle thing a few times.
That's true. I'm happiest in the saddle.
There you go. So they're just throwing that first word.
So, a man in the saddle.
Ugh, oh, fine. It was good enough. It was good enough.
Yes. And this movie was his follow-up to the 1953 Broderick Crawford Western, The Last Posse. And Gamet would go on and basically write Westerns until his final film in 1964, Apache Rifles with Audie Murphy.
What's it with guns?
Well, that's a pretty key part of the Western genre.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, like some of the other ones you think of, like High Noon, don't have the word gun in it.
Springfield Rifle does.
Oh, yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Also, High Noon is in reference to a shootout, so either way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. All right. I guess I should just accept it as part of this. Fine.
That kind of goes with the territory of the Western.
Yeah.
And some of the working titles for this movie, they were looking at the title Yankee Gold, like the short story, as well as I Ride Alone.
Inside this pit of danger?
I mean, I guess Randolph Scott did ride alone until the very end.
Into the place where no one follows me, I ride alone. I'm just quoting lyrics from Batista's entrance theme from WWE, because that's basically what it is.
Wow, I never would have...
Oh, it's I Walk Alone. Oh, no. The one listener who's a WWE fan shouting at me right now. I'm sorry, listener. It's I Walk Alone, not Ride Alone.
I thought you were actually mangling the lyrics to the Godsmack song, I Stand Alone.
I wonder if that actually was the same song at some point, and maybe they pitched for it and then they didn't get it and changed the word.
I Stand Alone was written for The Mummy I think. The Mummy Returns.
Maybe not then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Really getting into some weird nitty-gritty here.
No kidding. Now, the script for this film was originally rejected for its shocking violence and acts of vicious brutality and gruesomeness, which I gotta say, a little surprised at how intense the violence was up front with the raid on the town.
Yeah.
Where there's like the woman in the room and the guy bursts in and she's screaming and you hear the gunshot go off. I was like, this seems like an extra step, more intense than typically the case of westerns of this period. But I guess it sort of is setting up that something like the Searchers is gonna come a couple years later. Like there's a little bit more intensifying violence in these movies.
Because wasn't that like the dividing line between, I want to say, a couple of big actors in the sort of westerns? Like one of them liked the darkness and one didn't. Wasn't there like a whole toing and froing between John Wayne and someone else about this?
No, it was more. No. You're thinking of, I think, the High Noon controversy about the sheriff.
No one helped him, and it was all that thing. Yeah.
It was in High Noon, no one helps him, and John Wayne felt that was very un-American, and that people would be standing with the sheriff. So that was kind of the debate.
Which does happen in this film.
Yeah. But there was like a whole, breed of Western stars who things were more, cheerful. And it was like the singing cowboy kind of stuff. And this was sort of, this is almost like the early kind of steps towards what you'll get in like the 70s with stuff like McCabe and Mrs. Miller or Little Big Man, where it's these more revisionist Westerns that are like, things weren't that good.
No. Well, you look at like The Fastest Guitar Alive, another Civil War spy Western.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it seemed quite frolicky back in those days.
Yeah. A lot of them, it's like kind of like, cheerful. And yes, there's violence, but it's the bad guys that are getting hit. And, and everyone looks, kind of picturesque walking around versus when you get to those 70s ones where they're like, make everyone look like hell.
Yeah, like there's no running water.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not having a bath every day, folks. You're going to be a bit dirty and a bit smelly.
Yeah, and like places are going to look run down and
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what Cam's excuse is though.
When you go into like somewhere that's like a like a saloon and there's like saloon girls and all that kind of thing, they make it look like really fun and Hollywood-esque when you see like movies like this, but then you actually see more of the reality in like 70s stuff onwards, and it's like, oh, I would not want to be there.
No, it really does sound like frontier living. And whereas you look at like, I'm trying to think of some more recent westerns, like Shanghai Nights, I guess, probably. Shanghai Noon, is it?
Noon, yeah.
Noon, yeah, Nights is the other one. You've got like Wild Wild West and stuff like that. Like they do paint it to be quite fun.
They're throwing back more to the era of the fun Western, yeah.
Yeah, which, from what this film depicts, it isn't that fun.
No, it's really not, no. So, let's talk a little bit about the director, André Toth, who we actually tackled in the past. He directed Springfield Rifle.
Okay, I wondered why I knew the name. Okay.
Yeah, he was born in Austria-Hungary and started out in the studio system, actually not before the studios, actually in the Hungarian film industry in the mid-30s, doing various odd jobs. So he fled to England, before the war started, and headed to the U.S. in 1942. But before he hits the U.S., he is working in the film industry. He is someone who is doing things like, he writes and directs a 1939 spy romance called Wedding in Toprin. But when he actually gets to Hollywood, that's where things really start rolling. He starts out in second unit in 1942. He's doing the movie The Jungle Book with Sabu, does a number of films. And then he just starts directing films. And he does a whole string of Westerns in Hollywood. He does the 1951 Man in the Saddle, which I referenced earlier, from the same writer as this film. He did Carson City with Randolph Scott, and that led right into Springfield Rifle. And someone who is just doing Westerns, crime films, all over the place. This movie, interestingly, was the follow-up to 1953's House of Wax, which was a 3D horror film with Vincent Price. And a pretty big hit and the start of the 3D wave.
Is the 3D wave how they introduced it as well?
Oh, the wave coming at the audience?
Yeah. Oh, it's coming at you. Oh, it's coming at you. I moved my hand despite the fact that this is an audio podcast.
But André de Toth ultimately like moved into TV towards the close of the 50s, and that's where he would be. But a couple other interesting things about him, which we mentioned on the Springfield Rifle episode, but for those that didn't listen to that one, he was an executive producer on $1 Billion Brain.
There is a picture, I found this today, of him on the set of $1 Billion Brain with Michael Caine.
Incredible.
Because he's got his like eye patch, because you can only see in one eye.
Right.
I was like, why is he involved with this film? What a weird connection.
Yeah.
I'll post that picture online. You can all have a look.
He also shot second unit for the Aqua Troops in Thunderball.
Ah. So he has a Bond connection.
He does indeed. Yeah.
And still around or left us?
Oh, he's long gone.
Oh, okay.
Long gone.
Like the sands of the desert. He is just out there.
That's right. That's right. And we should talk a little bit about Randolph Scott.
Just a little.
Just a little. He was a Virginia-born actor, World War I veteran, and his father was acquaintances with Howard Hughes, the mega millionaire who was also a film producer, and that got Randolph Scott a small part in the 1928 silent comedy Sharpshooters, which was not a Western, surprisingly. He was, though, after a few roles, a leading man his entire career. Worked in multiple genres, but as I said, primarily Westerns, 60 of them. His best one was Ride the High Country.
I mean, not a bad run.
No. And I actually was someone who wasn't super familiar with him just because, as I said up front, he doesn't have that kind of go-to classic film that everyone knows the title of. But I picked up at a thrift store a collection of Bud Boddicker Westerns. And Bud Boddicker was a writer-director of the 50s and 60s. And this was just like a collection of like 5 Westerns with Randolph Scott. And I fell in love with them. They were incredible. And if this was a episode tackling those films, we might feel a little differently towards the overall, the positivity might be through the roof. Versus here, I think at least my feelings would be a little more complicated about this movie.
Well, yeah, this is my only bit of Randolph Scott, apart from the bit that lives on in me.
Yeah.
And, I've got some things to say.
And interestingly, actually, if you watch those Bud Boddicker Westerns in like the collection they put out, a number of Star Trek original series actors pop up, actually.
Any of the main cast or just sort of the bit players?
It's bit players, yeah. Like some of Mudd's women show up.
Oh, okay. Are they also just playing background women in this too?
No, like the leads of the movies in some cases.
Oh, okay. Good for them.
Yeah, they were kind of quick and easy to shoot, but the movies are high quality.
I thought you were talking about the women for a second.
No, of course not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised you said that, but
well. This year, 1953, marks the beginning of the 3D boom of the 50s, where there was fear of television rolling in. And they were like, what do we give people that will convince them to not sit at home and watch television? And so the boom only goes for 2 years. It's 53 and 54. Audiences did not like it.
It boomed.
It bombed. It boomed and it bombed.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, and the first one was in 53. It was a black and white 3D film noir called Man in the Dark. And it was followed very shortly, I think in some markets, like 2 days later, by House of Wax, which André de Toth directed.
Is this the days where people were wearing the red and blue 3D glasses that you see on a lot of retro films?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and House of Wax was the first color one, and the first one shown in stereophonic sound. So, this is definitely like kind of... House of Wax is like the big one, and then this is André de Toth taking that technology and bringing it over here. But this wasn't the only Western. There was other 3D Westerns like Arena, The Charge at Feather River, Devil's Canyon, and the John Wayne film Hondo.
I mean, it's not a big part of this film. It's a big part of this film in certain moments.
Yeah, and some of it, like early on, you're like, what's happening? Like, why is this happening?
Like, the first 5 minutes are in your face, literally. Every single thing is like someone's throwing a Molotov cocktail at the screen. Someone's firing a gun at the screen. We get it, folks. At the screen. And then it just stops doing it for like about an hour of the film.
Yeah, and like there's just interesting stuff. Like there's a carriage chase at the end of the film where they have like rocks in the foreground that are moving, and you're like, what's going on with those rocks?
All I wrote down, 2 of my lines are foreground rocks. More foreground rocks.
More foreground rocks.
More foreground rock. Foreground rocks in your face. At least they changed the foreground rocks.
They reorganized them for each shot.
Yeah, they moved them around a little bit.
Just think of the actor, or not the actor, but like the crew member that was like having to shake those rocks a little bit.
I like rustle them.
Yeah, because they were moving them. Like they're kind of like moving them to give you the sense of motion, but they weren't actually motion. Like they weren't moving.
Yeah, because the camera was also tilting slightly because it's like rear projected video of the film. Yeah, and then there's rocks in front of it, and they're shooting that.
But they're moving the rocks as if you're moving around the rocks.
Yeah, I mean, I give them credit for trying to do something with it.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, the novelty factor of things like this will make this movie live on in my memory.
Yep.
You know, and we tackle so many kind of pulp or B movie, genre films that are spy films from the past that I just, at this point in the run of this podcast, I have a hard time keeping, straight in my mind sometimes.
I had problems at the start, but yes, continue.
But this film, I will remember because of those rocks.
Oh yeah, the rocks and like the intrusive like hands in the face of the screen.
I was like thinking the torches. There's a part where a guy throws like a vase or something like that right at the camera. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Ernest Borgnine like throws something at one point, and they've clearly shot it as how many times can we get Ernest Borgnine to pick something up and throw it, and that's the take that they went with.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't shoot something in that style usually. It's almost like a POV shot.
But there's also like shots of like guns too being drawn, and the barrel is like coming through the screen practically.
Yeah. Yeah, I've not seen... I mean, I've seen worse uses of 3D in films.
I mean, I'm taking a bit of a digression here, but this is the perfect time maybe because the 3D aspect...
Do it.
This movie isn't about 3D, like, it's really just kind of this gimmick, these bells and whistles thrown onto it, but I've seen many movies in 3D. I don't remember a lot of movies in 3D. During that post-Avatar wave of just... I'm sure I saw some movies in 3D that if you told me I saw it in 3D, I'd be like, huh?
Well, yours has continued, from what I've learned. In North America, it seems to be pushed a lot. Like, it stopped being a thing many years ago here in the UK.
Oh, yeah, I saw Tron Ares in 3D just the other night, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think... If I go and look at the cinema local to me right now, I don't even think there's an option for any 3D movies.
I mean, I would... prefer that. I don't mind it with Avatar films because the 3D there is
kind of
very
designed
artful.
to do that.
Yeah, but in terms of like seeing things like, I mean, I guess Tron was probably designed for it, but like in terms of like Marvel movies and stuff like that, like, get rid of it.
So I just went and looked on my local cinema, and there are no films playing in 2D. There are no films playing in. It's all 3D, brother. There are no.
It's all 4D. There's water spraying in your face. There's gas fumes
Mist everywhere. It's crazy. There's sand. It's great.
You're being poked in the back the whole time.
Being assimilated. It's all 2D films.
You're like, this is not how I want to see one battle after another.
It's Leonardo DiCaprio blowing on me.
Sean Penn's perspiration just splashing across your face, shot after shot.
The perspiration, of Leo throughout the film, just being sprayed on us. Yeah. Slightly salty.
The cold sweat. Yeah.
Well, that was a trip. Yeah.
But so, like, Tron Ares isn't showing in 3D there?
And not even just my cinema. Any cinema from that chain is not showing Tron in 3D.
I will say crappy movie, but that's kind of a loss because I think the 3D aspect was probably the most well-designed part of the movie.
Wait, does it mean that Jared Leto finally has more than one dimension?
Well, in that movie?
Yeah, buddy. Come on. What a good joke. Why would you leave me like that? Why would you do that?
Well,
that was a good joke.
You celebrate that one there, Scott.
Everyone laughed at home, and I felt good, and you ruined it.
That's my role.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, we're in Cam's section where I can't like derail him, so I have to just let him get back to the facts.
Back to the cold hard facts. But no, my point was that like I don't get any excitement out of seeing like an upcoming Marvel film in 3D or whatever. Like or even like a new Pixar film, which they can look nice in 3D. Don't care at all. But to me, if you want to get me excited about 3D, you tell me they're doing some sort of rep screening of Stranger War Gun in 3D. I am there. I don't care what plans I have. I will cancel them because it's movies like this, seeing them in 3D, that's a lot more fun for me.
Oh, this feels almost experimental compared to like Avatar.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
but it's kind of clunky.
Yeah, I like that.
And like imagine sitting there in 2025 seeing this actually in 3D in a theater. It would be like bonkers.
Because the thing is, like modern films that involve 3D, from what I've seen in the past, and I imagine it's probably still the same from the ones you've seen recently, they want to obviously be 3D, but they don't like to call out the fact that they are 3D because that feels gimmicky.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, I mean, in the first 5 minutes, it's pointing out that it's 3D. It even says it like in 3D.
I was lucky enough to see Creature from the Black Lagoon and Dial M for Murder in 3D, because those were 3D films back in their day, and like the experience was really fun. I would love to see something like this. I mean, even towards the 80s stuff, I would love to see Jaws 3D in 3D.
I'm surprised I haven't done that. That feels perfect for you.
I just think, like, in terms of the markets in Vancouver, they're not really going to be screening stuff. But it's that kind of junky 3D of the 50s and 80s that, to me, would be legit exciting to actually pay to go see in a theater.
What's a spy movie you wish was in 3D?
It's got to be something that's kind of trashy. I mean, okay, you know what? I'm going to go a little more respectable because I was initially going to, like, dive down the well of, like, some B spy film we watched that you could have done that with. But I'm going to say I was thinking kitschy because you don't want something good. You don't want to see really Goldfinger in 3D.
No.
Like, that's not really, no. But I was just suddenly thinking, it popped into my head, what about Diamonds Are Forever in 3D?
Like bringing a whole extra dimension to those tsunamis.
Yeah, like just...
Okay. Maybe the stealth car would look better in 3D.
The stealth car? I said Diamonds Are Forever.
Oh, I went Die Another Day. Sorry, I just immediately went to that in my head. Oh, wow.
I mean, that's not a bad one either. Both of those. Those actually, are like the trashy Bond films.
Both are actually pretty good picks, because especially with Die Another Day, because it's all digital, so you could do a lot of the 3D work with that. But diamonds? Why diamonds? There's
just something about that one that's much more kitschier than the other movies
you want, like,
at that
the camp
time.
Value is what you're going for.
Yeah. Like, I want to see... You know, like the mashed potato regenerative chamber off the top. Like, just give me the texture of that. I don't need in-your-face 3D. There's just not a lot in that movie anyway. But like, just like Vegas in that time period in 3D. I just think there's enough stuff that would be kind of fun to see.
Welcome to 3D, Blofeld.
Yeah.
Just throws him into the mash. That's all right.
Because it would feel wrong applying it to something like even Spy Who Loved Me or Casino Royale. You don't want to see it on that type of Bond film. It would also be pretty good on Moonraker. Yeah,
the space fight.
Yeah, the laser beams.
Yeah. One of the spacemen turns towards the camera and fires a laser beam at you. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful stuff.
Yeah. Maybe that's the best one.
Because like even the marketing is like it's like Bond is out of this world. So like Bond in Bond in the next dimension. Bond owns all dimensions, or something like that. You could definitely do poster art with that.
You know when the guys on the like the gurney on wheels, I don't know what they're called, who rolls out of the back of the ambulance and his head goes through I think it's the British Airways
poster, which ironically I'm flying with in 3 days' time. But yeah, please remind me of that.
But imagine seeing that in 3D.
Oh yeah,
that guy with his head through the poster.
We'll take care of you.
And the pigeon double take in 3D,
pigeon. And the gondola. Like in 3D, like, a little bit like ocean, like Venice water spray as he drives past on a gondola. Like, that's a 4D thing, but a 3D thing, yeah. Would they zoom in on the pigeon?
You can't zoom in any more than it's already zoomed in. Just a close up of its eye. staring into your soul.
Yeah, what have I done? What have I done? Okay, well, I think then we've decided it's Moonraker.
Yeah, okay. I think that's our go-to.
Let us know, folks. What spy movie has already existed do you think should be converted into 3D? I want to hear it.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple other notes. This was Ernest Borgnine's film debut. So, this is obviously someone who would go on to have a massive, massive career. Oscar winner for the movie Marty. But this is his debut here.
Wow. What a way to start your career.
He would actually, co-star in one of the most classic westerns of its time period, which would be The Wild Bunch in the 60s. A bit of a box office bomb that went on to become highly, highly regarded. One of the most violent westerns ever made, too.
Not seen it? Is it truly wild?
Yes, it is. It's a pretty crazy movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Sam Peckinpah. And then also Lee Marvin. This isn't his debut, but it's an early film for him. He's barely recognizable with dark hair. I'm used to Lee Marvin with white hair.
Yeah, I didn't. I read it was him afterwards.
Yeah.
I was like, Lee Marvin? That's in the Lee Marvin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't recognize him really. Doesn't even. I mean, he's a lot younger than what we think of as Lee Marvin. But yeah, it's him.
So I found a quote from him talking about the production of this movie, and he was talking in regards to Randolph Scott. He said, "There was a flaming stagecoach in one scene, racing along while the cameras rolled in the driver's seat. Holding the reins sat the stuntman, while 20 yards away, sitting in a canvas chair, sat Scott, all dressed in his cowboy outfit, with legs crossed, reading the Wall Street Journal."
Damning indictment there from Lee Marvin.
Do you think there is some shade going on there?
I thought that's a little shady.
Basically saying he doesn't do his own action.
I mean, who does?
Very few in this time period.
At that level as well, like flaming stagecoaches. I don't think you would risk any major actor on that.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
No. Anything else for us?
This movie grossed $1.6 million domestic. Don't know the budget of it. But it would have been, I think, a reasonable hit. Westerns were very reliable in this time period. The top three for the year. Number one was The Robe, the Richard Burton biblical epic that's a real snore. Number two, From Here to Eternity, which won the Best Picture that year with Burt Lancaster. And number three, Shane, the classic Western with Alan Ladd. And notably, number seven was House of Wax.
Have you seen House of Wax?
I have, yeah, it's really fun.
Is it better than this?
Yeah, it is actually better, yes, I would say so. I think if you ask people classic horror films of the 50s, House of Wax would probably be brought up, whereas if you ask someone classic Westerns of the 50s, I don't think that The Stranger Wore a Gun is going to be mentioned.
No, I don't think so either. The only thing I'll add to its legacy that I have some input on is this often gets replayed on Talking Pictures TV here in the UK.
Oh, interesting.
And it's also on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the rights aren't maintained for it anymore?
Right. Yeah, I think it's just one that you don't really care that much.
Yeah. Although it does have I think it might even be 4K trailer on YouTube for it. Like, it almost feels like they've scanned the reels of it. It looks really good.
Maybe someone went in and just AI upgraded it for some reason?
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was just surprised. After watching the film in what looks like potato quality on YouTube, I watched that trailer. I was like, oh, wow, there's like some rich color here.
Well, it's like the other day, I was watching music videos for the band Garbage, because I went and saw Garbage last night in Vancouver, and I came across the Number One Crush video.
Right.
And it was like clear 4K. Like someone had gone through and 4K'd the hell out of that thing. Because my girlfriend's like, why does it look so good? And I'm like, I don't know.
As in they rescanned it, or it's like an AI thing?
I think it's an AI thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
How were they?
Oh, they were fantastic. It was a really great concert, yeah.
Did they play Well There's Not Enough?
No, they did not, unfortunately. I think you need the orchestra for that, so they can't really.
Yeah. Maybe the fact that you kept singing it, shouting it in between songs kind of put them off as well.
Yeah, maybe. And just my last note to take us out of the behind the scenes. André de Toth and Randolph Scott would team up again. They did 3 more films together. Thunder Over the Plains, Riding Shotgun, and the Bounty Hunter.
Those sound like westerns to me.
Clearly they were, yes.
Indeed.
Hey, I'm Paige DeSorbo, and I'm always thinking about underwear.
I'm Hannah Burner, and I'm also thinking about underwear, but I prefer full coverage. I like to call them my granny panties.
Actually, I never think about underwear. That's the magic of Tommy John.
Same. They're so light and so comfy, and if it's not comfortable, I'm not wearing it.
And the bras, soft, supportive, and actually breathable.
Yes, Lord knows the girls need to breathe. Also, I need my PJs to breathe and be buttery soft and stretchy enough for my dramatic tossing and turning at night. That's why I live in my Tommy John pajamas.
Plus, they're so cute because they fit perfectly. Upgrade your drawer with Tommy John. Save 30% for a limited time at TommyJohn.com/comfort. See site for details.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states.
Well, we're back in the world of westerns. We're back in the world of the Civil War. And we're back talking about spy movies, which we love doing. Can those three things blend together and make the perfect film?
What's the success rate so far?
It ain't great.
Yeah, because we had Springfield Rifle. We had the fastest guitar. Is that it? Or was there another one in there?
There's at least one more that I'm just trying to think of. There's one that you should know the name of because you were a big proponent for it. You were a big supporter of it, or at least its lead actor.
Oh my god. What the heck was it?
There's actually two you've missed, but one's damning, and I think your sister might have a problem with you forgetting.
Oh, of course. Fess Parker in the Great Locomotive Chase. Yeah, okay.
Correct. And the other one, which we covered quite recently, is A Southern Yankee.
Oh, of course. I don't really think of that one as much because it's more of the comedy thing.
Sure, but it is a Western, Civil War, like it's all there.
More Civil War, though, than Western. Like, this is a full-blown Western.
Sure, but there's horses, there's like people in cowboy hats and stuff. Like that stuff is there too.
Were there cowboy hats in that movie? I thought it was more the Civil War outfits.
They all look the same to me.
No, they don't. They don't look anything like.
Well, I guess. I for me, like as an outsider, if someone doesn't even really appreciate westerns that much, it kind of look the same to me.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, I'll tip my maybe cowboy hat to your point.
Your Stetson,
whatever it's called, can okay, just don't care. But can they come together and make the perfect spy movie? We've had a iffy track record. You've spoken a lot, so maybe I'll take us.
Please,
I'll take the reins.
Right away.
Do you know what? The novelty of it being 3D was fun. I think it's a pretty good-looking film at times. I think André de Toth did a good job with that.
Did you notice how beautiful the opening credits were?
They were great. It was like the best-looking bit of the film.
Oh my god, I was in awe of those opening credits.
I thought we were like in for a good go, and I was like, oh, the rest of the film looks like muck.
Yeah, compared to that, like that is just, woof.
Yeah,
beautiful.
But I think like there's some good cinematography in this film. He's clearly a good director and can shoot like gorgeous vistas, and there's some like really colorful, like the casino really pops and stuff like that. Like there's some good use of color in the film. It kind of feels like that sort of like VistaVision or Technicolor, that sort of thing you get. But I'll be damned if our lead was not just like laden. It was stagnant in terms of a performance. It was stagnant in terms of tension, of propulsion. I was like almost at the point of passively watching this film, and there were moments where I felt myself almost fall asleep.
Right.
So much so that I actually wrote down "strangers snore a gun."
Sure. Yeah.
And it's not like that. There are also explosive moments, like the big fiery showdown in the casino at the end. Is pretty well done.
That's incredible. That would have been great in 3D.
Yeah, I bet. So there are good moments in the film, but like I just feel like none of the actors are really doing their best, and it's a very muddled not the plot, but the performances. Like there's this whole like, will he, won't he story within this. Like, will he be a bad guy or not? But it does a terrible job of telling you that.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to try and figure things out in this film. And I'm not saying I want my plot spoon-fed to me, but it's just like I did not know that my lead protagonist's moral compass. I didn't know what was driving him at any point in this film.
I think you and I are going to be pretty in step on this one.
Okay.
Because, yeah, like in terms of the overall just Western plot of this movie, this is 99% of Westerns, right? Like it really is, stranger comes into a town, it's run by a guy who's corrupt.
Yeah.
Has to turn the tide. Like we've seen this a billion times, but that doesn't matter.
Man up against it all.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
It doesn't really matter. It's more like the clothesline for what the moral message is, the characters. It's just the Western template that we just know very well. So in that regard, it has its pleasures. There's things that I can sit there and be like, oh, it's fun to see. Seeing Claire Trevor show up as, Josie, the lead's sort of gal pal, potential love interest. Like, Claire Trevor is someone who starred in Stagecoach, the movie that made John Wayne a star. And just someone who has a fair amount of, just connection to the Western genre. And she did many other things as well. But seeing her is like a pleasure. But like, I sit where you do. I had no sense as to where Randolph Scott's character was coming from almost all the time. It was confusing trying to follow him. And like, Randolph Scott is an actor who can be very effective when he's playing someone who has a very clear moral directive in a movie and maybe has some torment. He's actually very good at that, where he's someone who's maybe his wife died or something like that he carries with him. Because I've seen him do that in movies, and he legitimately is pretty captivating as a presence. He's not someone who's like a multifaceted actor who's going to be playing all sorts of chameleon-like dramatic roles. That's just not him. But it's like when you plug him into the right character and project, he's really good. And actually, I did come across a quote from André de Toth just talking about how he really thought Randolph Scott had a ton of potential as an actor, but he felt Scott was very insecure and didn't trust his own abilities. And so often would just kind of like be like, well, I'm just here. I'm just an actor. I'm just doing the best I can. And didn't realize that he had more capacity to really kind of extend beyond what he was doing.
Yeah.
He apparently loved golf. That's what he was passionate about. It was not acting, it was golf.
Well, unfortunately, this isn't like Leslie Nielsen's golf tutorials, the film. This is a film about being an actor in a Western. So I'm judging him on that, not his golfing abilities. And yeah, I mean, I understand being an actor a little bit, I guess. I definitely understand self-doubt.
Yeah.
I understand that more than most, perhaps. But yeah, it's just this film, he keeps you at arm's length and I don't think that's a stylistic choice. I don't think he has the ability in this film to get the message across. Because really, the core of the character is he did some bad things during war, and then he went to do one thing that was a step too far.
Yeah.
And he pulled away. He's like, this is crossing the line for me. I'm out.
Yeah.
And so he's tarnished with that, and basically it's him repairing his image. It's kind of the idea of the film. Like, he is doing some bad stuff, but ultimately he does it in a way where he takes out all the bad guys. Like, it's a redemption story. Let's boil it down to that. And that it's a good hook. I can understand that. But the film doesn't ever play on any of those subtleties.
No.
And like, what you're left with is basically a summation of what he's done. That's all you have to really judge the character. I think I wrote down about halfway through, yay, our lead is a Confederate war criminal. Like, how am I supposed to root for that?
But it's also like he's not standing up and saying, these are what my values are.
Yeah.
And, we may not agree with them politically, but like you go, okay, well, I understand where the character's coming from.
Yeah.
It seems like he just more defaulted to that because he was like, well, what the Raiders were doing seemed pretty bad, so I just kind of went over there and did that instead. It doesn't seem like someone Like, because
he's not standing up against anything.
No, and off the top, he's a spy, although I was never really that clear as to what he was actually doing as a spy.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
Is he gathering intel on the raiders for the Confederates? Maybe that's what he's doing. But it's not like you get real insight into what he's actually doing as a spy or how it is affecting him.
Or the moral ambiguity of that or anything.
Yeah.
It's not there.
And when he runs back to that guy and he's overseeing the town, you're like, I don't know where this character's coming from. And he does want, I guess, redemption, but it's not clear. And there's a lot of very watery stuff going on where he's meeting with people, going to the father and daughter that run like the the gold shipment, like the bank basically, and arranging with them. Oh, send out another carriage without any money on it. And I'm like, why is he doing this? Like, I don't have a clear sense.
Yeah, because it's not like he's having a conversation with someone in a different scene going, I'm doing this because.
Yeah.
Or he's not, or like, I don't know, another shorthand of doing that is a diary entry or something. Or he's casually saying it to his other girlfriend, like what his plan is. You're given no hint of that. And I know a criticism of our criticism would be, I don't want to be spoon-fed plot.
Yeah.
I get it. I hear you, and I will often cite that as a problem of a film doing that. But you need something.
Yeah.
You need something that gives you some sort of moral directive of your lead character. He is basically an anemone. He's a sponge. He just sort of is what is around him at the time. So he's hanging around with some bad guys. I guess I'm doing bad guy stuff. Hanging around with some good guys. I guess I'm doing good guy stuff now. And then ultimately he makes maybe one decision for himself at the end of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Even I guess maybe one of the things, if you boil it down, is he's actually very terrible at making decisions.
Yeah, he does come across that way.
Because, like, he's being hounded by one of his girlfriends, which is one of the problems I want to get into at some point, about going to California with her.
Mm-hmm.
And his last choice, the joke of the film, is he's going to go to California with her.
Yeah.
That was her plan, not his plan.
Yeah, it's true. He's very, like, spineless in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a difference between someone who's a spy and isn't known to necessarily, like, he's almost been out in the cold too long, so he doesn't align with people. He's kind of drifting. And I understand that kind of thing, but it's not like this is ever mentioned in the movie. You have to just try to read something into this character.
Yeah, look at Jackson Lamb.
Yeah.
A character, Slow Horses, lead character, Sir Gary Oldman, if you don't know what I'm talking about, folks. But he is a spy who's been in the game a long time, and he's developed a sense of morals that are his own, and a sense of skills that perhaps mean he operates outside of the norm and outside of morality from time to time. But he gets the job done, and he is for the good guys. That's all defined, and you get it. Whereas, like, none of that is implied with this guy.
Another thing that frustrated me in terms of the character was he doesn't really like to use guns. And he's seen people be murdered in front of him, and I guess was traumatized by this, although very, like, it's not really that clear, but
it's the classic male traumatized of the 1950s, which means I'll mention it once, but you'll never see me cry or be sad or anything like that.
Show any sort of emotion about it whatsoever.
No.
So, like, he doesn't want to use guns. I'm like, okay, well, that's sort of interesting because the Westerns, as we were talking about earlier, guns are a big part of Westerns, right?
Yeah.
So, like, that's actually interesting to have a protagonist who doesn't want to use guns and is having to find creative ways outside of that. I think of actually that movie fairly recently, Rebel Ridge, where, like, he's like a martial arts expert, but it's in, like, it's like defensive, but it's in ways that are non-lethal.
Sure.
Where you're like, I haven't really seen something like this in a movie. This is really interesting. And so the idea of him doing that in this movie, in a 50s Western, is actually pretty interesting. But then he will use a gun.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, okay, well, I don't like to use guns, but okay, I'll shoot down Lee Marvin. That one's got to be done. So I'm like, well, that also makes it more watery. Because if he was someone who was like, I will always do everything I can to find the alternate option to using a gun, and make that clear on screen that is what where his mind is at in every scene, in every combat scene, that would be interesting. But again, they're watery.
Yeah, and you also and if you do something like that, you have to do a scene where you set them up to lose because their moral standing or their choices will get in the way of them achieving their aim. So, like, maybe he can't save someone because he chooses not to use a gun.
Yeah.
and you go, okay, this is certainly something he takes seriously. And then maybe at the end of the film, he uses a gun.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, wow, that was a really impactful thing.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it just flip-flops.
Yeah. There's a lot of flip-flopping from the Randolph Scott character in this movie. And the problem
Seems to be.
It's like, this is all just like very negative, and it's like I said, there are like pleasures in a 1950s Western. Just the hangouts, just going to like, the saloon and just spending time there is fun. There's character actors that are fun. This movie is a pretty breezy 80 minutes. It gives you the things you want to see. It's got a carriage chase. It's got stuntmen jumping across horses in a carriage. Like, kind of fun to see this sort of stuff. But when your lead character is this all over the place, it's maddening. Like, you have no idea what he wants, and that's a big problem. No.
Come back to that. Let me put a pin in it, because there's a something that he wants question I think will bring us back into dislikes.
Okay.
And one of my biggest ones. But you did mention this. There's things this film does well. Let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I mean, I think this is a pretty good-looking movie.
Oh, yeah.
I was surprised for a 1950s film, just how much some of these scenes hold up. And I'm not expecting it to be like janky wooden or like, cardboard rocks and stuff like that, although there were some movable rocks in the film. It is a film that surprised me with how rich it looked at times, and it reminded me a lot of On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Right.
In the sense of it's a very good-looking film, and some of those things are used to make up for the lacking in the lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like George Lazenby is no one's favorite Bond. I think I could probably go out on a limb and say that.
Well, maybe George Lazenby's.
Yeah, maybe George Lazenby. Although I think even him in his Darkest Hour would probably admit that he wasn't the best.
He's like Dalton all the way. You're like, wow, didn't expect him to say that one. Yeah, interesting.
Wow, shocker.
Wow.
I mean, what a controversial pick. And he's like, I will explain it now. Yeah. And then just coughs it.
Yeah.
It remains an enigma until the end.
Yes, exactly.
Lazenby. Good man. Yeah, like they push the artistry in different departments. Like, also, I'll mention, I think the score is pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some of it really quite rocks, actually. It really pushes the scenes along, where it didn't necessarily need to if you had someone like John Wayne or Gary Cooper who could probably just anchor the film more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, 100%. I mean, to me, it's frustrating because Randolph Scott, I'm kind of bummed that this is your first kind of experience with him, because I think in his better Westerns, you'd go, I get it. I understand why this guy was a formidable star. I think he just has
It could have been a bad day for him. I get that. That's fine. But
it clearly was miscasting, in a sense, to cast him as someone who's this morally all over the place and has a lack of just momentum to what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just think is wrong. He's a pretty statuesque guy in a lot of these movies, and I think that's what works better.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of an unfortunate one for your first experience with Randolph Scott, but to me, in terms of the likes...
Well, Cam. Most people's first experience with Scott is quite disappointing.
Well, very true, very true.
Just listen to our GoldenEye episode, folks. I'm sorry in advance.
To me, some of the joy of this movie, and this is very common for Westerns of this time period, they are kind of hangout movies.
Yeah.
They are the experience of just being in these, small town recreations. And
think of John Wayne and Dean Martin in Rio Bravo.
Yeah, playing the guitar,
just hanging out in the sheriff's office. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, and to me, the pleasure just came from some of the supporting cast. I really liked Claire Trevor being kind of this brassy lady who's kind of a gambler who has far more interesting things going for her than the lead. Honestly,
she's got some dynamism to her compared to Randolph.
When she grabs the shotgun from the sheriff's office at the end, I was like, man, get out there, girl. This is the mom in...
Cam just do the snap thing. It's yes, queen, get out there.
It's the mom at the end of The Man Who Knew Too Much, the original.
Yeah.
You're oh, wow, she's stepping in here. This is awesome. So I thought it was fun seeing Claire Trevor. Also, just... there is a novelty to the two goons for your villain being Lee Marvin and Ernest Borgnine working together.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily uncommon to turn on like a classic Western and see, I don't know, say Dennis Hopper pop up as a goon. But you rarely get two big stars in their supporting days working together, hand in hand in almost every scene.
And they are holding hands in every scene as well, folks.
Exactly.
Like, you've got a lot to look forward to.
That's right. Yeah. They're the original Winton Kid. But
ironically, also in the desert.
Exactly. Yes, they're carrying scorpions around in this movie. Yeah. But no, just the two of them. They are so distinct, like their faces.
Oh yeah, Ernest Borgnine. You can just like, oh, he is a interesting looking person.
And my investment really had more to do with how our lead character was going to take them down than the overall villain plot, which I really wasn't that invested in. The idea of him fighting it out in like a room with Ernest Borgnine's body double, that was fun to me.
Yeah,
and it was like a bit of a tussle.
It was, and like thinking about it in that way, it brings up or evokes memories of like Benicio del Toro in License to Kill.
Yeah,
like. You get an actor like that, he injects something a bit different to it, and you remember Dario.
Yeah.
But you don't remember half the bloody henchmen in Bond films.
Right.
Even the uber Bond nerds don't remember half of those people. But I will remember Ernest Borgnine in this film.
Yeah, and like struggling with Claire Trevor in the tavern at the end. Like, that's fun. I was like thinking to myself, like,
well, he does a little gun barrel thing as well if you look, because Ernest Borgnine shoots at the screen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So like if someone felt compelled, and it's not me, but if someone did feel compelled just listening to this, you could edit Ernest Borgnine into the gun barrel sequence because he walks and then shoots. Just saying.
Oh yeah. So yeah, like having that duo to me was just really fun in a way that, like, as I said, you might see Dennis Hopper, you might see Jack Palance in another Western, but like to have two of them bouncing off each other was really fun.
Yeah, I think they add color. It's kind of that on Her Majesty's, and I'm making a lot of Bond analogies today. I don't mean to, folks, but just the cast around George had to up their game to make up for a lack. Now, I'm not saying Randolph Scott is a lacking actor. I think he just perhaps lacked on this set. And as Lee Marvin pointed out, he was too busy reading the New York Times.
Wall Street Journal.
To really get... Whatever. What do both things say about you as a person? Like, it wasn't reading, like, Razzler magazine or, like, or, like, Playboy or something like that. Big Jugs or something. It was at least reading a newspaper.
Yeah.
It was erudite in his lack of enthusiasm.
Sure. Yeah.
I think.
I will also say another like too.
Maybe he was reading the funnies.
Maybe he was.
In the Wall Street Journal.
Another like actually was just, I've seen better carriage chases in Westerns before, but like these ones were like effective enough. There's a few too many of them. There's like 3 of them, I think. They go on a bit long, but
yeah.
Just in terms of like that old West staging of these kinds of sequences, again, it's the simple pleasures for me that were my main takeaway when it was asking me to acknowledge things that kind of reached beyond what the genre typically offers. That's where it fell flat.
Sure. And like there's never a problem seeing them shooting in like that Wild West town on probably the Warner Brothers lot or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a million Westerns have probably been shot there, but it looks great.
It did, yeah.
Well, the last thing, which really heated up my viewing experience, was the big fiery finale. Like I felt like they put some dollars into that sequence. I mean, let's just say Randolph Scott's character was wearing some major plot armor from that fire.
Yes, he was.
I did like when he moved from behind the bar exploded.
Yeah.
Cab just did a spit take, everyone.
I did, yeah. It was like the kind of set piece at the end that I really didn't expect.
No.
Because I expected something a little more down the line of just, okay, we'll get like some sort of shootout or something. The bad guy will
a bit more sedate.
Yeah.
Something, yeah.
Yeah. That fiery finale was maybe the thing to recommend this movie the most, because it really was spectacular. There was a lot of fire. It was like a Rammstein concert going on there.
Well, yeah, Cam, in a different universe, the alternate title to this film would have been Fire Fry Bang Bang.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Agents, where are you? Why do you hide? Follow that Patreon trail and make SpyHards your guide.
That's right. From Spy TV reviews covering the antics of George Smiley, Jack Bauer, and the Slow Horses to reviews of non-spy movies from your favourite spy actors, there's no more secrets over on our Patreon. But Cam, tell the listeners about this week's top secret broadcast.
Folks, hang on to your calculators and follow us through the trapdoor as we tackle the 1980 TV movie Once Upon a Spy, starring Ted Danson and Christopher Lee. Haven't heard of this one? Well, it's easy to remedy. Head on over to YouTube and check out Once Upon a Spy and join us for what is going to be an absolute riot of an episode. We have our spandex. Do you have yours?
So deactivate Ghost Protocol and visit patreon.com/spyhards to truly do things angel style.
But before we close Channel D, on with the Spy Jinx.
Grief doesn't keep a calendar. Anxiety doesn't clock out after 5. Depression doesn't care if it's your busy season. But support can still fit into your life. With Grow, you can find a therapist who meets you where you are. They connect you with thousands of independent licensed therapists across the U.S., offering both virtual and in-person sessions. You can search by insurance, provider specialty, treatment methods, and more to find a therapist who works for you. And if it's not the right fit, switching is easy. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Find therapy on your time. Evenings, weekends, and cancel up to 24 hours in advance at no cost. Whatever challenges you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/ACAST today to get started. That's growtherapy.com/ACAST. growtherapy.com/ACAST. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
And we're back. And I am going to pick up on a bit of a nugget of something I mentioned earlier that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And that is the lack of wanting to make a decision.
Yeah.
And that is the two female leads of this film. Now, we spoke about how, like, the lead has no direction. Throughout this film, there is also a will they, won't they between, you know, Randolph Scott's Jeff Travis, Claire Trevor's Josie Sullivan, who you've mentioned, and also Joan Weldon's Shelby Conroy, who's like the banker's daughter, basically, or something like that, who's a bit more homely.
Is she?
A bit more, not homely as in like that, but just like a safer pair of hands.
Oh, gotcha.
Like you get the idea that Claire Trevor's Josie Sullivan is a bit more of an adventure, whereas, you know, if you got with Joan Weldon's Shelby Conroy, you know, your dinner would be on the table when you get home from work type of story. You know, like
you're working at the bank.
Yeah, like it's a pretty 2.5 household, like a pretty standard thing.
Yeah.
The easy life, as some might say. And fails to do anything with that setup.
He doesn't indicate any interest whatsoever in her.
No, well, it does kind of like, I mean, the film indicates that she has a lot of interest in him.
Yeah.
She's like pining for him. But there's a couple of moments where he feels a little bit intimate with her, I would say.
It didn't feel like, though, like, because Josie seemed, in my mind, to be blowing it out of proportion at a certain point, because she brings it up a lot. There's a lot of like jealous female stuff going on here, but like Josie brings it up over and over, and I'm like, I don't know, I didn't sense any chemistry between those two whatsoever, and he never seems to be going to hang out there very much.
Well, it's pretty clear that you're team Josie then.
I was team Josie. I mean, she's brassy. That lady's fun.
She's a real what's her name from Diamonds Are Forever?
Oh, like Jill St. John's character, Tiffany Case.
Tiffany Case. She's a real Tiffany Case.
She is totally, or maybe she's a little bit of Plenty O'Toole too when they're gambling, or he's gambling, and she's just like pushing in his money.
Wait, so if we're saying that Josie Sullivan is like a mix of Plenty O'Toole and Tiffany Case, what is Shelby Conroy?
God, in that movie, I don't think there's another option, is there? There's the old lady they fish out of the water, but that's not.
Boy.
We don't want that for Shelby.
I think I know who she is.
Who?
It's Moneypenny.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
The sensible option. Yeah.
Although weirdly they never shot a scene together in that film in Diamonds.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
you get that hovercraft moment, don't you, with that?
Yeah,
Weird.
it is weird.
Oh, because why they never got them two together in that film in the end, it didn't make any sense to me. But it's weird that we keep making parallels between The Stranger Wore a Gun and Diamonds Are Forever.
I don't get it either, but it just keeps happening, and so I'm just going with
it. Fated to be together.
Yeah. I did think though, in terms of like the lead character again, that kind of lack of direction, it made me think a lot about the movie Yojimbo or Fistful of Dollars. The first of the Leone films with Fistful of Dollars, and Kurosawa's Yojimbo, where it's a Ronin / cowboy rolling into a town and pitting like two gangs against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And he is like a man of mystery. He's the man with no name in the Clint Eastwood case. It's, this kind of Ronin character in Yojimbo. And you don't know a lot about this person, but you can understand very clearly what he's doing in how he's pitting the two gangs against each other. Obviously, there's a lot of that in License to Kill, taking it back to Bond again. But like in all those cases, you may not know the internal workings of your lead character's mind, like what he actively wants out of this, but you understand the steps as to what he's doing. And there's a whole bit where you have Randolph Scott interacting with this character Degas, played by Alfonso Bedoya, who's, I guess, the comic relief of this movie, given how crazy he's going in his performance.
For it to be comic relief, it has to be funny.
It's not funny, it's kind of grating, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's not culturally insensitive in the sense of you've got someone of that culture doing that in that way, I suppose. But they're overacting, purposefully under the direction to do so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to do the whole like retrospective morality thing.
Yeah.
It just isn't funny.
No, and there was often in these kind of movies like a Mexican character who was kind of over the top.
And also played to be stupid.
Yes, and that's the case here.
Yeah.
And I guess he's the loose cannon in the story, like the sense that like he's the kind of unpredictable one. There's actually a really fun scene where one of the main villain, we haven't even mentioned him, George Macready playing Jules Moret.
Says a lot.
One of Moret's guys is just like walking down the street and suddenly gets picked up and carried away.
Yeah.
Like lassoed and carried away. And I was like, that's pretty funny, actually. That's a memorable moment. But then he winds up tied up, and you have Degas, this, Alfonso Bedoya character, just like trying to shoot a can off his head over and over and like cackling. And I'm like, there's a madness to this kind of loose cannon character that does work. The comedic aspects don't, but like kind of the dangerous unpredictability is kind of interesting. And so to throw him into the picture with the very controlled villain, I'm like, that could actually work, but you have no idea what Randolph Scott is even thinking or why he's doing this. And the payoff to actually putting these two elements to get against each other doesn't really pay off in an interesting way.
No, it's literally, it's a fun idea that is not worked on.
It's like it just leads to a shootout where Moret's men take out like all of them.
Yeah, and there's like a little bit of a to and throw in, and they kill him.
Yeah, it's not like the Degas character gets killed at the end, but maybe does some irreparable damage to the bad guy. That doesn't even happen.
Yeah, he doesn't have quote unquote like a hero moment or whatever you would refer to it as,
or an impact moment. Like he doesn't change the course of really what the villain is trying to do or anything.
No, he's just an inconvenience.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the other major problem I had was something we just briefly spoke about, which was the villain of the film, which we just mentioned, George Macready as Jules Moret. He's like the big bad of the film. He worked alongside Randolph Scott's Jeff Travis during the war as part of the Raiders, these baddies, but he kept doing it instead of having the moral conscience take over. And he is sort of like purporting to be a reputable businessman. He's swindling over this person, constantly trying to get their gold. Yada yada yada. It's such a one-note performance. I don't think he ever goes like higher than a 3 on a scale of 10 of acting prowess.
Yeah.
I'm sure the actor is good in other things.
Yeah.
But I think he's just phoning it in on this one.
Yeah, he has been. I mean, he's in Paths of Glory, the classic Stanley Kubrick film, Gilda. Right. He's done things where he's legit good, but like here, the problem is if you have a watery lead character, you want to have at least very distinct villains so that you can go, okay, well, that's where kind of the gravity is pulling me towards. But the problem is you have a watery lead character going up against a very bland villain. And there's obviously more presence going on with Ernest Borgnine and, Lee Marvin, and even as annoying as he can be, the Degas character, the Bedoya character. But when your main antagonist is someone that just doesn't even seem that threatening,
no,
it's tough to really get invested. And so you see him burn up at the end in the fiery finale, but like it doesn't feel like this great like comeuppance to this bad guy. You're kind of like, okay, well, that's the end of him, I guess. You want like a villain who, if he's taking over this town in a sense, or he's ruling this town, there's something sinister about him. There's menace.
Well, you want justice to be served, and you want when he gets taken down to feel like justice has been served. You don't react to it. Like he gets killed in the big sort of fire. What do we call it? The fiery finale.
Yeah.
But I didn't fist pump when he got cooked alive.
No, me neither.
I don't think you ever really get a sense of. I mean, obviously he's trying to rob people, which is inherently wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't think you really get a sense of actually how amoral the person is and his activities actually were, because the film pulls back to show you some of the depraved stuff. At the beginning, you get a little bit when they're burning that house down, and they say like, "Oh, they killed like 16 people" and all this sort of stuff. But you don't really see it.
Yeah.
And you don't really see him use that depravity during the film. He's more like transactional.
Yeah, like there's the character like Jack or Uncle Jack or whatever who gets beaten to death in the carriage. But like you're also like, well, is that something the villain is actively overseeing, or is that something like where one of his dudes is a little bit of a loose cannon?
Just went off the handle or something. Yeah, exactly. Like if we're going to go to our Bond analogies, let's go to License to Kill for this one.
Yeah.
Like you get an early impression that Sanchez is nuts.
Yeah.
When he's whipping Lupe.
Yeah.
Right? And he follows that up throughout the film, and at the end he goes nuts and kills everyone on his team. You never get that sense here. He's more like Stromberg in The Spy Who Loved Me.
There's no desperation coming off him either, as things are getting more and more quote-unquote intense.
Yeah, except for maybe in that fiery scene at the end where he's like trapped and is about to burn to death, which I think we'd all probably emote a little bit in that situation.
One of the big problems, too, is you see at the start of the movie where, the Travis character, Randolph Scott's character, is with the Raiders, and they are doing really bad things. And you see the leader of the Raiders as like just a complete psychopath, right?
Yeah.
He's scary.
Yeah.
That's not your villain.
Nope.
So when, Moret shows up later and it's like, oh yeah, I was there too. I was riding along with them. You're like, who was that guy?
Yeah. What has he done?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing. So I think that's a letdown. I think that's another. It could have been an easy win. You could have written him to maybe do a couple of heinous acts, or show him do that at the beginning, so you have a feel of what he's capable of, and then you feel justice has been served when he's killed. But you don't feel anything.
Yeah. There's another actually interesting part of this movie too. Just I'll mention quickly, which is like there's this ongoing theme of people who don't talk wind up dead, and I didn't really understand what it was even trying to say about that. Because, like, the Randolph Scott character doesn't really talk either, but manages to make it out just fine. But, like, this happens multiple times in the movie where they are trying to get information out of someone, and they are killed for it. And it didn't feel like the movie was really doing anything with that, but it kept happening.
I'm just trying to think if there's any sort of message there.
Is this the 1950s thing of the anti-American activities? And they're like, if you don't talk, guess what? You're in trouble.
McCarthy era. The House of Un-American Activities will come knocking at your door.
This is that time period.
Oh boy. What a time. What a time. Well, any final notes before we wrap it up, Cam? What have you got?
I really only had one thing, which is that this movie kind of fails in cool spy names. Because you find out that, like, when undercover, Jeff Travis has 2 different spy names. The first one is John Smith.
Oh, yeah. I know where you're going with this. Okay, yeah, John Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. And the second one is Mark Stone. Mark Stone's better, but I'm, like, thinking, is this the best we can do for, like, Western spy names? Because, you know, when you look at, like, Jason Bourne, James Bond, Mark Stone, I guess, is okay, but the Mark part doesn't seem as strong to me. Maybe Mike Stone would have been better.
Mike Stone's instantly cooler.
Yeah.
Mark Stone just feels like your dentist.
Jack Stone?
Jack Stone's that sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does feel like a porn name though.
It does, actually.
Starring Jack Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is something I noted down. The spy names wasn't all that good. I'm pretty sure I'd end up with something like Cletus as my name. It was a Western.
Uncle Pappy.
What did you call me?
You could be Uncle Pappy.
I don't want to be Uncle Pappy.
You're like the very simple guy sitting in a rocking chair playing spoons.
On a harmonica or something like that?
Well, just playing the spoons off your knee.
Oh, okay. Whittling, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, that too.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. The only other thing I thought was interesting, like I didn't have any sort of scenes to point out because I've done it already, was like the context of this is quite interesting if you modernized it. Like take the Western stuff out of it, take all that. You have someone who's like you have a country divided, okay? Let's not get into the politics of today, that's not what our show's for. But there is very much a divided line running through the United States at the moment. And people are being, investigated and stuff for things they did for one side against the other.
Right. Yeah.
And they're using the Justice Department to that end.
Mm.
Imagine a world where that flips. And you've got someone who did some stuff for one administration, and then that next administration's in, and they're being raked over the coals for it, and they are trying to find a way to make amends for what they've done. Like there is kind of a cool spy thing in there. I think you could do.
I don't think the premise of this movie is bad. I don't think this is a case where I'm sitting through something going like, what were they thinking with this idea? I think the idea is solid. It's all the execution here.
I agree.
Yeah, so like you could easily take this template, the way that this movie takes the classic Western template, and apply it to something else, and it could work.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the things this film has going for it, is the fact that if it was in other hands, it probably would be a better film.
Yeah, maybe just like this just needed like another pass or two on the script, I think.
I think it needed a different lead.
Yeah, I just don't think I would have cast him as a kind of like this mercurial kind of spy character.
No. Okay, well, it's the final question, Cam. It's time for...
Not list. Not list. Not list. Not list. The not list. Not list. Not list. Not list. You need to pick a side.
Knock list time. That's right, folks. The list of the need to see official classics of the SpyHards canon. I mentioned the word canon earlier. Maybe I should shoot myself upon this film. Cam, is this making the knock list?
No, I think it's pretty obvious from what we've said that this is not something that's in contention for the knock list.
Duh. Why are you hanging on this? Every word, idiots.
But it does bum me out that we haven't kind of found that classic Civil War era or Western spy film for the canon, because I'd really like to add one.
I mean, there are a few more. Certainly a few more.
Yeah,
so,
there are.
We live in hope. It's a no from me as well. I don't need to belabor it. Despite a good setup, despite what looks to be a good cast, it just doesn't come together. I think really in the end, that's the real problem, is you hide the wrong people to do this, and you ended up with a subpar version of this film.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Well, that is our latest expedition into the desert. I'm feeling dry and sandy all over.
To the saloon.
It's everywhere, Cam.
Yes.
Everywhere. But I had fun. I had fun riding around the dunes with you.
Taking in some 3D.
Taking in some 3D, yeah, man. I've not had guns shot at me in 3D in a while.
Or, the flaming torches in your face. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, only in real life does that happen.
Exactly. You're like a classic Universal monster character, constantly chased by crowds of people with torches.
I leave the house, pitchforks, every time.
That's right.
Yeah, that's just Middle England for you, really.
The farming community has it out for you.
They really do. I keep making jokes at their expense is probably the problem. But that was A Stranger Wore a Gun. It is not making the Not Clear dossier on the film is complete and filed as classified. But Cam, the question as always goes to you. What are we doing next week?
Well, Scott, before I answer that, maybe you should tell the people what's coming out this Friday.
Oh, well, Cam, your first good idea in quite a while.
Thank you.
Congratulations for that. Well done. You're quite right. We have a bit of a special treat coming on Friday this week. Not connected with Stranger Wore a Gun. Connected with a story that came out not long after the film, though. And I'm sitting down with a man called David Eldridge. And he is the screenwriter behind the new play adaptation of the classic Jean le Carré story, The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. Just about to hit the West End, actually. I think in a mere days, I believe, actually, when this is coming out. I sat down with him for an hour. We went all through the process of turning it into a play, but also just his love of le Carré and the spy genre and what sort of got him to that point. And some very interesting twists and turns over the years it took for him and his team to get that to the stage, including a rather interesting afternoon with Mr. le Carré himself.
Sounds intriguing.
Well, I hope so. So stay tuned for Friday this week, folks. That's coming out. It'll be on your podcast players and also on YouTube. I'll have a video version of that one up, hopefully, if I get it edited in time. That's my mission, should I choose to accept it. But I'm going to get my old tennis racket out, Cam, and bounce it back to you. What are we talking about next week?
Well, Scott, you are going to be, this Friday, talking to someone who's remade in some ways or has a new take on a classic spy property. Well, next week, we are going to revisit a classic spy comedy that's given another take. We're going to look at the 2003 version of The In-Laws, starring Michael Douglas and Albert Brooks. The first film made the knock list. Will the second?
I think we all need to just take a moment to applaud Cam for connecting those two things together.
It was not easy.
He did some mental leaps to get there.
I was practically putting my back out jumping through that one.
I saw it. You really put your effort in there, Cam. I mean, well done.
Well
done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's the little things.
It is the little things. But yeah, it is an interesting week to revisit The In-Laws. I wasn't the biggest fan of the original. The 2000s remake with Michael Douglas and Albert Brooks, can it win me over? Well, there's only one way to find out. And in classic SpyHards fashion, we're also bringing an extra treat for everyone.
That's right. We will have an interview with the director of the film, Andrew Fleming, who's going to have some really interesting insights into this project, which, we keep referring to it as a remake. Was that supposed to be the case? He'll reveal the truth on that one later.
There's also a surprising James Bond story in there. Perhaps, maybe, I don't know, some new James Bond information.
That's right. Yeah.
The only way you're going to find that out, folks, is if you hit subscribe, and so it hits your podcast players next week. So, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to join us on Tuesday as we take a look at 2004's The In-Laws. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it sounded good. And stick around for Friday as we sit down with the director of the film, Mr. Andrew Fleming. And it's one of those interviews that people often write to us about that they love, because it's a real nuts and bolts going through the process of making a film, which is the interviews Cam and I love doing. We came out of that interview, we were both buzzing about it. It was a really interesting time with Andrew. I really recommend you check out that one as well.
Agreed. It's, as you said, one of my favorite types of interviews as well. So
for sure. So yeah, join us next week. Make sure you hit subscribe. Hey, leave us a 5-star review while you're at it. I know I should put these prompts at the beginning of the episode, but I forget. I'm a forgetful man. I have a lot on my plate. But if you remember to do it now, or you're at the end of the episode, you could stop listening now and go do that 5-star review and you won't miss out on anything. So go leave us a 5-star review. You can do it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or, you can just leave us a 5-star review at, I don't know, a toilet stall somewhere.
Oh my God. Why would they do that, Scott?
I don't know, but it's funny.
That's true. It is.
And then send us a picture of it. I'm not endorsing that sort of behavior. I think it's abhorrent. But if you were to write...
Picture of what?
Well, okay. Oh, yeah. I'm not married to that idea.
I don't want anything to do with this anymore. I quit.
Okay. Next week it's a solo podcast. Actually, to be fair, this Friday is a solo podcast. It is just me, so I'm used to it. Cam leaves me all the work to do these days.
Whoa.
Sore spot. Okay, well, let's put a balm on Cam's ego. Okay, let's make him feel better, and you can make him feel better by going to patreon.com/SpyHards and joining up as an agent, a secret agent, or a 00 agent over on our Patreon, thus kicking us back a little bit of dollaroonies to say thank you for all the spy jinx. It's as cheap as a cup of coffee once a month, and you get a ton of bonus episodes and a whole back catalogue of more, including, we've got a ton of film reviews, TV spy reviews, and also some film commentaries in there too. We don't talk about those very often, but we have some spy movie film commentaries in there for you to enjoy. Patreon.com/SpyHards, find that there, and join the discussion with us on social media at SpyHards, SpyHards, wherever you get your social media. But until next time, folks, some wise words, courtesy of the stranger wore a gun. When there's a stampede, the safest place is up a tall tree.
Hey, I'm Paige DeSorbo, and I'm always thinking about underwear.
I'm Hannah Burner, and I'm also thinking about underwear, but I prefer full coverage. I like to call them my granny panties.
Actually, I never think about underwear. That's the magic of Tommy John.
Same. They're so light and so comfy, and if it's not comfortable, I'm not wearing it.
And the bras, soft, supportive, and actually breathable.
Yes, Lord knows the girls need to breathe. Also, I need my PJs to breathe and be buttery soft and stretchy enough for my dramatic tossing and turning at night. That's why I live in my Tommy John pajamas.
Plus, they're so cute because they fit perfectly. Upgrade your drawer with Tommy John. Save 30% for a limited time at TommyJohn.com/comfort. See site for details.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Hear that? It's holiday cheer arriving at Ulta Beauty with gifts for everyone on your list. Treat them to fan-favorite gift sets from Charlotte Tilbury and Peach & Lily. Go all out with timeless fragrances from YSL, Ariana Grande, and Carolina Herrera. And you can never go wrong with an Ulta Beauty gift card. Head to Ulta Beauty for gifts that make the holidays brighter and even more beautiful. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
This podcast is part of Podomedy, the UK's podcast comedy network. Why not laugh at what else we've got? Visit Podomedy.com.